Hey everyone, it's Matthew, Community Support Provider for Public Health and Human Services. Today I want to talk about the importance of using humor to cope. And to do that, I want to start out with a little story that happened to me yesterday. So I went into one of the local hardware stores and I was standing in line, mask on. There's an older gentleman in front of me. And he's got his mask on and he's checking out, and I glance up from my phone and see he's pointing at me and giving me a thumbs up. And I'm like, okay, this is weird, but I just give him a polite thumbs up, and he checks out and goes about on his way, and I hand the cashier my few items, and she rings me up and it's like $96. I would say that doesn't sound right. I've only got these few items. And she said, oh well, your dad in front of you said that you were gonna cover his stuff as well. And I looked at her and I looked out at the door and I just bolted outside, and I see this guy getting in his truck, and I run over to him. I'm yelling, stop, stop, and he's not listening. Looks like he's gonna start driving away, but as he starts to shut his door, I reach out and grab his foot, and he's trying to put his keys in the ignition, and I start pulling on his leg, trying to get him out of his car. I'm pulling and I'm pulling, just like I'm pulling your leg right now. so, so, as you may guess, that is a joke, and I just want to remind everyone that most of us have heard the saying at some point in our life that laughter is the best medicine. And if it sounds like a silly response to a pandemic, that's good. I hope it sounds so silly that you're laughing out loud right now, because laughter and humor can help us in two huge important ways. One, it helps us to take back our power in powerless situations. And two, it helps us connect with each other. These are two things that we can use plenty of more of right now. We've talked a lot in these videos about fear and grief and anxiety and loneliness, and now it's time to let some humor lighten that load a little bit. Laughter is one way we can do that. And in fact, laughter activates important feel-good hormones in our brain, which also reduce our stress-related hormones, like cortisol, if you've ever heard of that. If you're a person who already uses humor to cope, you are probably at a huge advantage right now. If, like me, you aren't prone to laugh your way through a crisis, then it may be helpful to surround yourself with people, media, or stories that bring that laughter into your life. We know that laughter also increases the number of antibody-producing cells in our bodies. That helps us stay healthy. It enhances our T cells, which are at the core of our adaptive immunity, and it helps tailor our immune response. All of this equates to a stronger immune system, which is going to help us right now. Research also indicates that humor benefits not just our physical state, but our psychological state. Studies show that humor has the ability to provide pain relief, improve positive emotions, regulate stress, and improve our interpersonal communication too. This is going to sound really nerdy, but according to the Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor, people experience a 39% reduction in stress just by anticipating humor. So some easy ways to do this are through the use of technology. YouTube has tons of comedians that you can subscribe to. Facebook has cat videos, and a newer app called TikTok is full of hilarious videos that people are creating to entertain each other while they're stuck at home. If you're old-fashioned like me, bring out the old jokes and puns to humor yourself and the people around you, which reminds me of this Spanish magician I saw the other day who got up to do his grand finale, and he said, "Uno, dos," but then he disappeared without a trace. Okay, that was pretty bad, which brings me to another point. Laughing at ourselves is a great way to cope. It may take some practice, but it's a whole lot easier than frustration or judgment. And finding humor in little things can be very contagious to other people. Okay, so lastly, if you're fortunate enough to live with other people, here's a fun game to try. Lay on the ground with your head on the belly of the person next to you. Have the next person lay down and put their belly on your belly, and so on and so forth. So if you arrange yourselves right on the floor, the group can form a circle with everyone's head resting on another person's belly. Once everyone is in place, each person takes turns and says, with some authority, makes a "huh" sound, which comes from the belly. If you do that in a circle and you increase the speed and everyone's head starts to bounce on the bellies, and before you know it, everyone hopefully is roaring with laughter. At least that's been my experience. So to wrap up this video today, the release that we can get from this cleansing sort of feeling that impacts us physically and emotionally through laughter. Most people feel really good after laughing. It can feel like a weight has been lifted, and at a time when so much is weighing us down, it can be pretty therapeutic to engage in some good-natured humor. I hope you can find time to do that, and appreciate you joining me today. Until next time, I'll see you later. Keep laughing.